Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 23 of the Australian Rock Show. My name is Dennis Gray from the Rockin' and Rollin' Gray Brothers. Today is Friday the 12th of June 2015 when this show is being recorded. Since forming a couple of years back, Perth all-girl outfit Legs Electric have been building up a solid local fan base, and in late July will be playing their first ever East Coast shows. They look good, they sound great, they're influenced by the right kind of rock, and this is just the kind of stuff we dig. Fresh from supporting Space Ace Freely and also a gig on the Baby Animals Super Jesus She Who Rocks tour, we decided it was time to get them on the show to learn more about them. It's an interview recorded last Tuesday, the 9th of June, by the way, with drummer Kylie, which we'll hear in a moment. But before we do, let's take a good listen to the current single from Legs Electric, Wanna Riot. Tonight we have Kylie from Legs Electric on the line. Welcome to the Australian Rock Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Kylie, you're the drummer and also one of the songwriters, correct?
Yeah, we're all pretty much songwriters in the band. But I haven't written for any other band before, so this is kind of my first time writing my own stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to chat with you. One of our listeners sent me a message a couple of months back and clued me onto you guys, and I'm glad they did because I've enjoyed what I've heard so far. The band sounds great.
Fantastic, thank you. Did you listen to it turned up really loud or what?
Since I was a kid, it's always been loud.
Beautiful.
But Kylie, we started the show in the best possible way by airing the current single, Wanna Riot. It's good. It's got a hell of a catchy guitar riff running right through it, which had me hooked pretty quickly. Can I start by asking, how has the single been doing for you? And I'm meaning iTunes sales and maybe airplay. And how did the tune come to fruition?
We started working on this, it would have been about 6 months ago. Emma got the idea because she went travelling around Europe and happened to see one of her friends wearing a denim jacket with the Wanna Riot patch on the back. So she thought, what a cool name for a song. And then we obviously got some lyrics together and and Laura wrote the riff when she went to London for a family holiday. Then we put it all together, and we went and did some pre-production with Joel Quartermain from Eskimo Joe, and he kind of helped us, structure it here and there, and there you have it. Wanna Riot was formed digitally. Obviously, we live in a digital world now. So iTunes, its sales are going really well. Everyone, can have iTunes on their phone, and Bandcamp, surprisingly, is another one that's doing quite well. And you can hear it on Pandora and Spotify and all those digital outlets. So yeah, it's going good for us.
That's good to hear. Well, this past week, I've had a good listen to a bunch of your recorded tunes, and Wanna Riot, I think, is the strongest song you've written so far. The EP from last year was very, very solid, but with Wanna Riot, I think you've raised the bar a little bit, and I hope that's an indication of further strong material to come. Are the band currently working on new tunes or an album?
Yes. We probably have about 7 tracks upcoming at the moment. So we're always writing. We're very productive that way. We'll hit the studio again to work with Joel from Eskies for a new single that's actually coming out. I won't tell you what it's called, but it's coming out, July, August, September this year. So we're in the final mixing stages of the track at the moment, and we're hoping that it's even better than Wanna Riot. So it's got a really good, good hook, line and sinker. Yeah, it's been recorded, so it's in the final mixing stages.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're always writing. We've got a whole heap of new tunes that we have to just structure and work out, and then we'll probably have a new set soon. So all good to go.
You make me want to move to Perth, but did you, you just did an Ace Frehley support at the Astor Theatre. How did that go?
Oh, it was amazing. It's such an awesome venue. It's such a huge stage, and the audience was so perceptive of everything, and they were a really fantastic audience. And we actually got to meet Ace Frehley as well, which is our guitarist Laura is a humongous Kiss fanatic fan. Like, she absolutely loves him. We got to meet him backstage, and it was just a really good show for us, and we sold quite a few merchandise, and yeah, it's good to get out there and play with these big supports. So yeah, it was fantastic.
I reckon he would have a soft spot for Perth, as Kiss, as you may or may not know, started their massive 1980 Australian tour at the Wacker But I don't want to get off track, which it is hard with Kiss, as I was in the original Kiss Army back in the day, and even though I went AWOL, I sometimes have flashbacks. But
Legs Electric, we actually, when we first, a year ago, we did a Christmas party at one of our local rock and roll pubs here, and every original band has to choose a tribute act to perform. We actually chose Kiss, and we learnt 8 of the tracks of, the 70s era, and we sent some of the photos to Kiss, and they actually tweeted it. They loved the photos so much, and it was awesome.
Nice.
My sister's not a huge Kiss fan, so she was Gene Simmons, but she really put on, she was, out of all of us, I think she actually performed the best. She really got into a character. So. Good.
And you also did a Baby Animal Super Jesus date quite recently too. How was that show?
Oh, that was amazing. Sarah and Susie, the 2 front women of the band, they were so awesome, so lovely. The whole band were really nice, and we actually sold the most merch we've ever sold at that show. It was sold out. There was a line of, people, on the curb, on the street. It was awesome, really good show.
I guess somebody like Susie DiMarchi would be a huge inspiration. In what way do you think?
Well, Ama Quincy, our lead vocalist, her whole vocal is based, around Susie DiMarchi and the Baby Animals. Like, she absolutely loves her, and it was a dream come true for her to meet her. She's been a big influence on her vocal range and everything like that. So, yeah, huge influence for Ama.
Well, I guess, as you would know, listeners would know that the Baby Animals debut, self-titled from 1991, is a monster, and I've got great memories personally of seeing them in the Sydney pubs a bit before that album was released. And,
okay, fantastic.
Yeah, hope to get Susie on the show sometime soon. So, okay, can you help me out with some band history? I believe you formed in late 2012, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me how it all happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously, the bass player, Abby's my little sister, so I forced her to play the bass in one of my old all-girl bands. We just lost our bass player. She moved to Melbourne, actually. A lot of Perthians moved to Melbourne, and we lost her, and we had about 5 or 6 shows booked to play. Abby didn't even know how to play bass at that stage, and I said, we really need someone, just learn the bass, here's a bass guitar, and she learnt, 10 tracks in a week and was up and playing shows, without even knowing what she was doing. And then obviously she's improved so much from there. And then we lost a guitarist in that band as well. She relocated to Melbourne as well. So
what was the name? What was the name of that band?
It was called the Surefire Midnight. So they're actually Melbourne-based now. So they play around. So we lost a guitarist as well, and so we found Laura, and another girl came in and started playing for us as well. And we formed Legs Electric because we loved the Surefire is a very AC/DC influenced, and that real Aussie pub rock, and we've, like, Abby and Laura and I have a lot of other influences, and we wanted to kind of have more creative control on writing our own thing, and we always wanted to kind of do something a little bit different, and that's kind of how Legs Electric was formed. I lived with Laura at the time as well, and we didn't have any furniture. All we did was jam in the lounge room with the drum kit and guitar and all the amps, and we wrote all the time, but all the stuff we were writing wasn't really for the other band. And so we decided, look, let's do our own thing, let's get out there and do our own thing. And I met Ama actually she was singing in a rock and roll bar, singing AC/DC actually. And I went up to her and said, you're going to come and sing in my original band one day. And she was playing in the cover scene back then, and didn't have a lot of time on our hands, but I stalked her for 6 months and finally got her to come over to mine and Laura's. Had a jam, and she was absolutely sold, and obviously Abby was in it from the beginning. So
what's Laura's history? I can hear that she's quite an accomplished player who has an amazing guitar tone.
Yeah, well, she's obviously, her dad plays guitar as well. Her family are very musical, so she's the baby of the band, so she's only 24. So she's been brought up with a lot of 80s kind of Kiss, Eddie Van Halen.
80s Kiss, Judas, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Judas, all Kiss. She's an absolutely Kiss fanatic.
Right.
Judas Priest, AC/DC. So I guess she's very influenced by that style. She has a 1978 Gibson head, and and real vintage kind of gear. So yeah, she just loves it, rock and roll. It's in her blood.
What about yourself? What kind of stuff were you raised on? I can hear some Zepp influences in there.
Yeah,
some of those
that's
tracks.
me. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
My dad was from London, so I grew up with Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, the Grateful Dead. Grand Funk Railroad. My sister's a huge Neil Young fan. Like, she absolutely loves him. And Ama is she loves, Whitesnake, but she loves, Grand Funk Railroad and stuff like that. So we're all kind of stuck in that 70s, 80s era still.
Nothing wrong with that. And that's one of the reasons
nothing wrong with that.
I just think it's refreshing to see a young band who's into that kind of stuff, which is normal for a lot of us. But
yeah.
So, and you actually, talking of 70s rock, you supported Uriah Heep back in March. That would have been cool.
Right.
Did you meet Mick Box?
We did. It was quite funny. We were playing that show. We had to, as soon as we finished playing, we had to get our gear off the stage, and they wanted us to take it off the stage, but all the crowd was there, obviously. So we found a little trapdoor on the side, and we were kind of loading our gear out on the street, and Uriah Heep were actually down there. That was their rehearsal room, so they were watching us, load our gear out, and we got to meet them. They're absolutely lovely, and they loved what they heard. They really loved it. It brought them back, they said, which is awesome. They're absolute, legends. So fantastic show. And
last year you released a 5-track EP titled Maximum Rock and Roll, and I presume that those tracks were being played in your live set and you had them pretty much finished, or did you have to come up with something in the studio?
No. Basically, the way we wrote our EP was Illicit Love. I actually wrote that riff, and Laura and I worked on that together. And that was the first song we ever wrote as a band. So the EP is kind of like a mini history of, how our writing progressed. Temporary Road, that was the next one, and Ama wrote that. Trigger took us, over 9 months to write that. That was one of our epics. And then the whole CD is just like a bibliography of our writing. Like, every song is categorized of exactly the time we wrote it. So yeah.
You're a mind reader, because we're going to air Trigger in a moment. What we might do, we'll play a tune and then we'll look over some of your upcoming gig dates. And so Trigger, which you just mentioned, is lifted off the aforementioned Maximum Rock and Roll EP. Love this. I mean, there's some really sharp lead guitar at the end of the tune, which I think everyone needs to listen out for.
It's a beautiful guitar solo, yeah.
Oh, it's great. Can I get you to intro that with a little background about the song? So you mentioned 9 months in the works, and it was a collaborative effort between the four of you? Or?
Yeah, it was. All our songs, we write them together. That's the good thing about Legs Electric, I guess. We all want to be part of the writing sessions. We all write our own parts. We give all of us ideas. Ama actually wrote the song based on, it might sound a little lame, but it's based on, like toxic relationships and having that power to kind of stand above that and go your own way and, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a little bit of, I guess, girl power in that song.
Great.
So,
thank you. Let's hear Trigger. Legs Electric there with the track Trigger, which was lifted off their 2014 EP Maximum Rock and Roll. Now, you've got some live dates planned, which we need to mention, including some upcoming Sydney shows. Have you played Sydney before?
I have in other bands, but this is the first time with Legs Electric, so we're really excited to come over. Nice.
So, Friday, June 19th, you are on at the Bassendean Hotel, Bassendean. Saturday, June 27th, Legs Electric are playing at the White Star Hotel in Albany. Thursday, July 30th. Now, you're on at the Sly Fox at Enmore in Sydney. Reckon that's the one I'll try to get to. Newcastle listeners, Friday, July 31st, go see Legs Electric at the Stag and Hunter at Mayfield, which I've heard is currently one of Newcastle's hottest live venues.
Oh, fantastic.
Saturday, August 1st, you've got two shows, early and late, just like the old days, Kylie. Early at the Bearded Tit, which is located on Regent Street in Redfern, and I don't have any details for the latest show at this stage. So,
yeah, the Bearded Tit, we're actually doing it a little bit differently. We're playing 2 semi-acoustic shows, and then we'll give you the full Maximum Rock and Roll, the live stuff. So it's a little bit different. If you've seen us previously or like on YouTube or anything like that, it's kind of going to give you a little bit of a lighter vibe, of our sound as well. And the songs sound great acoustically also. And then the Sunday, which is the 2nd, we're playing Frankie's Pizza. So I've heard that's a pretty rock and roll place.
That's right, Frankie's Pizza, which is located at 50 Hunter Street in the city. All of these dates will be on the band's website, which is at legselectric.com. And if you live on the East Coast, get along to one of these shows. Fingers crossed you'll be doing some Melbourne shows in September, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So we're waiting. There's a kind of big industry festival that we're waiting to get confirmation. But either way, we're going to do Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne and come out there again because we absolutely love it over East. It's just such a great vibe and the people there are absolutely lovely and we always have a fantastic show. So, yeah, we can't wait. We'll be over, yeah.
Well, I know very little about the Western Australian pub scene. Outside of Perth, what's the reception been like for the band?
Outside of Perth? Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I mean, so far we've only played Melbourne and we got to play the infamous Cherry Bar. So, nice. That's a fantastic, dive rock and roll bar. We played with an awesome band, Palace of the King, and actually their singer is the lead guitarist in the Super Jesus. So,
that's right.
Tim. So it was absolutely awesome.
What about outside of Perth, regional centres in WA like Albany? You got a good following in places like that?
We do, yeah. This is our third time going to Albany, and we feel like a local there already because it's such a small place, but it's absolutely beautiful.
The kids want to rock.
Place to play. Yeah, we just want to rock, definitely. And we're also playing Margaret River Settlers, which is July the 18th, and that's an awesome surfy, beachy kind of town. They love their rock and roll. So we love playing the regional shows. They're always awesome.
Nice. Well, there's some footage of the band doing tracks on one of the big Perth FM stations I've seen. It's rare but refreshing, I think, to see an FM radio promote an independent act. So 2 thumbs up for 96 FM, is that them?
Yeah, they've been really supportive of us, and I listen to a lot of radio stations, but they play a lot of the classic rock and roll, the Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, so it's awesome to be, a part of, being played as a part of that radio station. So they're really supportive of local bands, which is great.
Well, Kylie, we're getting to a close soon, and the track which we're going to close out the show with is another one off your EP I really dig called She's Like a Saint. And you mentioned before there was an inspiration of Susie DiMarchi, but I think Ama has a great rock voice, and on that track she reminds me a lot of a singer called Gigi Hangash, who used to front a band from LA called Phantom Blue. Has anyone ever mentioned that comparison?
You know what? We have had Phantom Blue does ring a bell. I think we have had that as well. She also gets Pat Benatar as well.
Okay. Well, it's a compliment. Gigi, has an incredible voice, and if you haven't heard it, check out their album from 1993 called Built to Perform, which is one of my all-time favourite records. It will floor you. She's Like a Saint. What can you tell me about that?
That's actually, it's kind of a mythical story based on one of Ama's best friends, actually. And she does know it's about her, so that's all good.
It's a great idea to include, it's got a gunshot in there. And I don't think,
that's right,
in all my years of dissecting rock and roll, I've ever heard that used before. Great.
We just thought we'd add it. Yeah, it's kind of about, evil taking over good and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's, about a girl that, has always been really good, but then when she goes out, she becomes a different person. And, it's kind of like I said, it's like a bit of a mythical song. It's a great track. Yeah, it really does showcase Ama's vocals really well.
So what's in the works for the next 12 months for the band?
Next 12 months? Well, besides the Over East tour, we're just going to hit the studio. We're going to keep writing. We, in the pipeline, we want to get over to the States because our manager's based, he's based in Sydney now, but he's originally from LA. He's got a lot of contacts and experience working the US market. So, yeah, that's kind of our long-term goal, but we just want to keep writing, get out as many tracks as possible for our fans and keep rocking.
Will the album be self-released, or is there any label interest?
Potentially, yes. There potentially is label interest, but it's something I'll have to keep quiet.
It's good to hear. It's all positive.
Yeah, definitely. It's maximum
Kylie,
rock and roll,
thank you.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. We are always on the lookout for cool, authentic rock and roll, and personally, it's refreshing to know that there are bands like Legs Electric coming through and flying the flag for hard rock. It's really pleasing.
Thank you so much for having me, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. We love rock and roll. It's the best.
Thank you. And before you go, every guest on our show gets to request a song by an Australian band. Can be one of yours or something which is special to you. What would you like to hear and why?
All right, we have all picked this together, so we're going to request AC/DC, the song titled Sin City from their Powerage album. The reason being is it's a song actually that we cover here and there, and we absolutely love it. We love anything that Bon Scott does, and yeah, it's a fantastic, powerful song. So we'll go with Sin Cities by AC/DC.
Fantastic choice. Let's go out with that. Thanks for your time today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
There you go, folks. Shining the light on Legs Electric, one of this country's best up-and-coming new outfits. If you liked what you heard and you live in Sydney, show your support by making an effort to go and see them live when they play here soon. I believe Melbourne dates are tentatively being planned for September. Best thing to do after you've finished listening to this show is to get online and visit legselectric.com. Gig dates, music, merch, it's all there. They're a cool band with a lot of potential, so again, show your support. Okay, time to run. AustralianRockShow@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us what you think of the show. Like us on Facebook. AustralianRockShow.com is our online home. All the past episodes are there for you to download or stream. And again, if you're listening in via iTunes, show your support by leaving a show review. It only takes a couple of minutes and it helps others to find us. You know, we buy lots of our CDs and rock books from Fishpond, who are Australia's biggest online store. They have thousands of products at discount prices. It's shopping made easy. And folks, free shipping on every order. To take advantage of this deal, head to AustralianRockShow.com and click on the Fishpond banner, which is located on our homepage. We'll get a small kickback, you'll get the savings, and it goes a long way to covering our running costs. We want to keep this show free, and by shopping at Fishpond through us, it will assist us in doing just that. Let's close out with another cool track from Legs Electric. And folks, you know the rule by now. If you're listening in whilst driving, turn the volume up and roll the window down so you can educate others. Here are Legs Electric with She's Like a Saint. This is Dennis. Out.